What's going on, everyone? My name is SiahZ and welcome back to our bow, lightning arrow, Huntress Amazon build. We're now doing over 160 million damage, being able to take on 4 to 5 men plus 4 level pinnacle bosses, killing them within a second, being able to clear T16 juice breaches no problem, and we have upgraded our survivability, now being able to have 100% basically uptime of our energy shield thanks to leech being converted over to energy shield. Overall, the build is feeling amazing and I really think you guys are going to enjoy the changes. Before we get into it, if you guys do enjoy these types of build videos and you're liking the content I'm putting out on my channel, if you could consider hitting the like button and subscribe to the channel, it helps me out immensely, and it also helps with the YouTube algorithm, and in turn that is the current best way to support me. I also should be live right now streaming the build on YouTube and Twitch. The link for that would be in the description as well as the comment section of the video. All right, let's get right into it. The first thing we can get into here is the gear. So for our bow, we did make upgrades to it. So again, we're still looking for high accuracy and crit damage if we can. Basically just going for, after that, like high physical, or if you can roll high elemental damage like lightning damage on here. That is a really another good option, and it should be basically a 1-to-1, either high lightning damage roll or high like decent physical damage after you get the accuracy and crit damage on the bow. Now, I also did find out that running crit damage soul cores is going to be more damage on average than accuracy, but obviously crit damage soul cores are like a divine per. So if you can't afford that, just run accuracy runes. It's still really good here and will give a lot of damage. We also want to try to look for a Gemini bow, so this way we can fire additional arrow, but you could also try to look for that additional arrow modifier rolled onto the bow if you don't want to roll with a Gemini base. For the quiver, we're still running the same one as last time. Again, this is a serrated quiver. We would want to get like a prime or visceral quiver here. That would give a lot more damage. So we're looking for basically crit chance and crit damage. Those are going to be the most two important stats to roll on your quiver. After that, if you can get like increased damage with the bow skills plus all the projectile skills, that'll give a really good amount of damage as well. Lightning damage, physical damage, stuff like that as well rolled on top of it will also give a lot more DPS. But again, the two most important stats to look for on your quiver are crit chance and crit damage. We are still running the deepest tower. This helmet is super useful for us, gives us so much damage and allows us to literally super juice nuke bosses in a second. Basically what this does is enemies in our presence will count as being on low life. So anything you see inside that green circle, they'll be counted as being on low life. So basically there's a lot of things on the tree we can run to basically pick up, like increased damage against enemies on low life, lucky hits, etc. So we just get a lot of overall DPS added to the build. For the boots, we are running high evasion rating boots, going for tri-ele res, fire cold lightning, and then obviously high move speed. So this way we can be res capped. Obviously the evasion rating is nice because we do want to have around 70% chance or higher chance to evade. It just makes the build feel a lot better. For gloves, I'm probably going to butcher the name, but we are running Essentia Sanguis. Basically, these are going to allow our life leech to be converted to energy shield. So this is how I was basically saying in the beginning, we can have almost full uptime of our energy shield, never basically going below that, is because every time we attack, we are going to get that life leech, then we're going to get that leech back as energy shield instead of life. So we basically are fully leeching energy shield, keeping it maxed up, and it's really good for survivability because the whole kind of downside, at least going hybrid with this build, is there's not a full like lot of ways to basically keep that energy shield topped off. With this, we basically keep it full 100%. It makes the survivability of the build go through the roof. So that's why we're running this. For the body armor, we're still going for a hybrid like sleek jacket, anything like that that's evasion, energy shield, looking for high rolls on those. And then obviously just go with resistances to be res capped. If you need to roll tri-ele res like me, go for it. That's pretty much all you want to look for there. And if you can roll like high life on it, it's going to be another added bonus and help with the survivability of the build. For the jewelry, for amulet, we're running a jade amulet. I just need it for the dexterity, and then you could roll like strength, dex, and anything like that on it. It's going to be nice. It'll be universal. I just need the strength to basically get up to be able to run the helmet. So like if you rolled an ant, for example, you could throw ant nose off the tree for strength and get that, the strength basically threshold met. So it doesn't really matter what you roll, but you need to roll one of those attributes on there. I have leveled up projectile skills. That's a ton of DPS overall to the build, so I advise going for that. And then obviously Spirit is really nice as well. It allows us to run all of our reservations and all the other stuff on the build, so that's why we need to look for there. On top of that, if you can roll any defensive stuff on there, like increased evasion rating, increase the max energy shield, or both, that will give a lot more survivability to the build as well. As far as the anoint we're running on here, we are running storm charge. Gives a lot of elemental damage basically to us if we've done a crit recently. Since we're always critting, we always get that increase in elemental damage, plus the crit chance that it gives is pretty nice as well. So that's why we run it there on the amulet. For our rings, we are running an unset ring. This is basically just going to allow us to get another skill slot, and since we are running a lot of skills, we do need to have that.
basically slotted in, so this way we can run everything that we need to. On top of that, on your rings, what you're mainly looking for is lightning damage to attacks, and if you can, increase lightning damage. So either look for that, or you can do lightning damage and physical damage. Those are two good basically combos to roll, but the lightning damage increased lightning damage will give you a lot more DPS overall, so try to look for that first. On top of that, on one of the rings, we do need to roll Dex and Intelligence to get up to the thresholds that we need to basically run everything in the build. You know, if you need to roll reses on there to be res cap, go for it. Accuracy rating will give a lot of overall DPS as well, so you can look for that on your rings. On the other one, this is a really bad base, so don't look for a Lazuli ring, but I wanted to look for one that is going to have, like, you know, physical damage as life. On top of that, you know, like decent lightning damage and increased lightning damage. And this is the one I found on the market, so that's why I picked it up. Again, resistance if you need to, accuracy is cool. You would want to try to find mana per enemy killed on here instead of basically physical attack damage leeches mana. This will allow you to basically fully solve mana issues with the build. For our bout, we are running Ingenuity. Basically just try to look for high percent rolls on both the left equipped ring and right equipped ring. This just allows our rings to get a lot more damage, attributes, resistances, etc. out of it. So that's why we want to run Ingenuity here, and it is best in slot for this build. For the back bar, we are running a wand and shield. The wand basically is just going to allow us to run ball lightning, have a really high percent chance to shock, and obviously pairing that with the Effigy of Cruelty, this will allow our spell critical hits to apply stacks of weakness. Makes us go from like 40% chance to crit all the way up to like 80-85% chance. So basically doubles our damage in that regard. So it's really good to roll. So on the wand, just look for a crit chance, increased chance to shock. And then if you can, any like damage stuff, so like damage is extra lightning, increased lightning, anything like that. Now we can get into the gems. So for lightning arrow, highest level with quality, we're going martial tempo to have more attack speed on it. We are going to be running deliberation on here for bossing. If we're going through maps and stuff, you want to take this off because the more movement speed penalty while using the skills kind of feels awkward while like mapping and stuff. So we'll take it off and we'll throw overextend on here. But if we're bossing, like I said, we'll take overextend off, throw it on our rods, and just use the deliberation for our lightning arrow, since we don't really care about the movement speed penalty once we're bossing. But from there, we run fork on it just to have better clear with the skill. Primal Ardament to increase the elemental damage, the lightning damage, etc. that we're doing with it, allows a lot more DPS from it. And then Lightning Infusion to get even more lightning damage on the skill as well. For our Lightning Rod, again, highest level with quality. We're going Concentrated Effect to get more area damage, since Lightning Rod counts as an area skill. Going with Overextend to have much more critical damage bonus. We have like over 1,000% critical damage bonus on it, so it's huge for that. Close Combat, obviously, for 25% more attack damage, since we're always within that 1 meter, since we want to play the skill basically like a melee, since we have to be within like a 3 meter range for them to be count on being low life. From there, Elemental Focus for more elemental damage, and then finally Execute, since we are counting them on low life, that's 50% more damage there, so it's huge DPS increase for Lightning Rod. Then we're running Barrage. We run this just so we can have an easier time basically of setting up, but mainly so we can throw Premeditation on there. So we'll do 15% more damage with whatever skill we use after we barrage. So I like to go in barrage twice with rods. That's 15% more damage on 10 of our rods, which is huge DPS increase there. After that, we'd write Ingenuity on here for increased cooldown recovery. Second wind, so we can use it twice. And then finally Arcane Tempo, just so it has more cast speed. Now the new thing we are running on here is War Banner. War Banner gives us so much more damage. The reason for this is we get 5% more attack damage, and we get 12% more aura magnitude per valor, and we can have 50 valor on here. So obviously you guys can do the math, but that's just so much more attack damage overall to the build, which means a lot more DPS. So from there, we want to run magnified effect in here and precision, so this way we'll get increased accuracy rating since we have the additional spirit, which just means more crit chance, more DPS. I do want to say real quickly, if you guys do feel the need to find more like survivability with the build while mapping, etc., you can take War Banner out and throw in Ghost Stance with basically fast forwards and throw precision on Ghost Stance as well, just to keep that up. This will give a lot more survivability to the build, but I don't really think it's 100% needed since we have basically full leech with, you know, energy shield and stuff. But if you do feel like you need it, that option is there. Then we're running Connectivity. Just go up to whatever intelligence you can with the skill for level. Again, quality on there. With Cursed Ground to turn into an AoE persisting skill. Heightened Curse to have more magnitude of it, which means more resistances for lightning res that will reduce on the enemy. And then Ritualistic Curse to have more area of effect on it. Then we get Volatating Mark again. Level doesn't really matter, just throw it low level, so this way it doesn't use it pretty much any mana. Then quality on here. Basically what this will do is we'll mark an enemy and allow us to get much more magnitude, and that's how we achieve basically 100% shock effectiveness on the enemy. From there, we're going to Tornado Shot. This is going to be how we are going to be running and keeping rage and stuff up. So we're going to be supporting Tornado Shot with Overabundance. This way we can have 2 of them out. Persistence, have more skill effect duration on them. Font of Rage, this way we can generate rage, which gives us tons of more damage, and then Font of Mana to have more mana regen while we're near it. So basically we use it just for Font of Rage, but it is nice to kind of throw them down, and then once we have everything set, we can barrage into them to shoot out many more projectiles. Just adds a little bit more burstiness to the basically build while we're bossing. Then we have Wind Dancer in here. It gives us much more evasion rating per stage, so it's 30% more evasion rating, which allows us obviously to have much more survivability. We're going to support this with Unbreakable, so this way to have more stun threshold, we will while we're using the skill, which is nice. Then we're running Energy Barrier. Basically, this is going to allow our energy shield to recharge to begin instantly whenever we get stunned while using the skills while it's supported. We go Charm Bounty basically, so we can get 100% more charges when we kill an enemy. Just kind of nice there. And then finally, Arm's Length. This way it'll have 40% more knockback distance. Then we get into our Ball Lightning. Again, highest level up to whatever it you have. This is going to be our main shock skill to apply shock to enemies. We're supporting this with Conduction for 100% more chance to shock. We are going Overcharge for more magnitude of shocks. Then we have Lightning Exposure on here, so this way we can inflict lightning exposure on an enemy once we shock them, which will reduce their lightning resistances even further. Going with Strip Away to have an increased effect of our exposures to lower the resistances even more. And then finally Unleash, so this way we can cast 2 of them instead of once. From there we have Herald of Thunder, again highest level with quality with lightning penetration, so it'll penetrate more lightning resistances. Long Shot to have more attack damage to enemies further away from us, and since this is going to be basically chaining away from us, this basically will get all hop time of that 30% more attack damage. Enervate, so this way it'll have more lightning damage on killing an enemy with it a shock, so it's really nice there. Since we have the Spirit, we might as well throw Deadly Herald in. This is 30% more damage with the skill, which is huge. And then finally Lightning Mastery to give another level into the skill, and that basically covers the skills we're running with the build. So for our Ascendancy, we're going to be going into Critical Strike. This is going to allow 25% of our excess chance to hit with attacks to be added as additional critical hit chance. It allows us to get a lot out of accuracy stacking, and that's our main point of why we're going to roll like on weapons, gear, etc. This way we can get a lot of crit chance. Next, we're going to be going into Penetrate. This is basically going to take 25% of the accuracy rating on the weapon and add it as physical damage. Again, another reason why we want to accuracy stack on the weapon. Then we're going to go into Predatory Instinct. Basically, rares and unique enemies will have open weaknesses, and on those weaknesses we'll do 50% more damage. It's a huge DPS boost. And then we're actually going to be going into Mystic Harvest now. This way our life leech will be based on our elemental damage as well as fizz. This just allows us to get so much more leech and allows us to basically have full uptime, of our energy shield, combining that with the gloves. So this is really nice for survivability. For the passive tree, we're going to be going into Primal Instinct for that attack speed and AoE, obviously down in Eagle Eye for the increased accuracy and stuff. From there, we're still going to be coming down over to this branch and going in all this cluster with basically damage against enemies on the life. And this is a lot of increased damage that we get here. Finishing blows against 60% increased damage against enemies on the life. Stars Align is huge DPS boost. Basically, damage against enemies on the life will be lucky, which is insane for us and definitely increases the DPS. So that's why we take that. From there, we're going to come here with weapon set 1 points and go to Master Fletching just to get increased bonuses gained from our equipped quiver. Again, with weapon set 1 into Precision Salvo for that increased attack speed and accuracy rating. Coming down, we'll be going into Cooked and taking the right side of it. This is just going to give us a lot of crit damage, etc. Going into Escape Velocity for that increased evasion rating, which is really nice, plus the move speed. I'll get into all the gems after the tree is done. From there, we're going to come down with weapon set 1 points and go to Standard Deliver, just so our projectiles will have increased critical damage bonus against enemies within 2 meters. Plus, we get increased damage as well. Obviously, we want to be within that 2 to 3 meter range. This way we can take effect of the helmet to put them on low life. So there's no reason not to take this. It's just a lot of DPS increase. We'll be going into Catalyst as well for that increased elemental damage with attacks. From there, we're going to come down and go into with weapon set 1 points Acceleration. The increased kill speed and move speed is really nice to have, so that's why we take it. Again, with weapon set 1, we'll go into Falcon Dive for the increased attack speed per 250 accuracy rating. And since we're basically accuracy stacking, there's no reason not to take that. It's a lot of attack speed. Coming down and going into this Jewel Socket. From there, we'll go into Coming Calamity. This is 50% increase in lightning damage while affected by Herald of Thunder, and obviously we have Herald of Thunder on, so there's no reason not to take it. Then we'll be going into Enhanced Reflexes for the increased evasion rating, and that increased percent dexterity is really nice. It allows us to get that 212 dexterity to run like the Gemini bows and stuff like that. We'll be going into all the crit cluster here on the right, so Heart Stopping obviously is increased critical hit chance, and Intelligence is really nice. Heart Breaking is increased crit damage and strength, which is huge. Then Struck Through is 1% more crit chance added to the base, which is massive. From there, we'll head up and we're going to basically take all of Throat Seeker. This is going to give us a ton of increased critical damage bonus. Then we're going to come in and go all the way down into Exposed to the Storm. The damage lightning pen that we basically get from here is really good, and the crit chance as well against enemies with lightning exposure is really nice as well, since we're basically going to have that full uptime against bosses. And that lightning pen is really nice as well for DPS. From there, we'll go up and go into Spectral Ward. This is going to give us a lot of energy shield for 12 evasion rating on our body armor. And since we're running a hybrid energy shield, evasion rating, body armor, we get a lot of out of it. So that's why we go into there. Then we're going to head down and go up basically into this full crit cluster. So True Strike, the dexterity and crit chance is really nice. For the jugular, again, is crit damage and intelligence. And then going into these 3 nodes into Deadly Force is like 70% increased damage if we've got a crit, which we always are. But then the increased crit chance is pretty nice as well. Real quick, I forgot to say with weapon set 2 points. So basically we're going to go into Frazzled and Rattled for the increased shock duration and magnitude of shock. Then we're going to be coming in as well with weapon set 2 points going into like General Electric, Harmonic Generator, and Unbound Forces. This just is going to allow us to get so much more magnitude of shocks, allowing us to basically reach 100% shock effectiveness for an insane amount of DPS boost. From there, the jewels that we're running up here is we are running a controlled metamorphosis jewel, still with a massive ring. Try to get as low as you can on the negative LE res and chaos resistance. Basically from there, what we want to take is we want to go in the moment of truth. This is going to allow us to get a good amount of crit chance, and that crit damage bonus we've done on our crit recently has some uptime, but mainly we take it for the crit chance. Then we're going to be going down in the Staggering Palm. This is just going to give us a lot of crit damage bonus, and the physical damage is nice, but we mainly take it for that crit damage. And then finally, the last thing we take is Wild Storm. 50% more maximum lightning damage adds a lot of DPS to the build. Over here, we're going to be throwing in Against the Darkness, Time Lost Diamond, going for the damages extra lightning. If you can do another extra damage here, like, you know, damages extra of like chaos or cold or something like that, that will be a lot more DPS. But obviously this can get really expensive, so I'll just try to look for either like max res, chaos resistance, or like increased max life, something like that. Then we are running a Time Lost Emerald, just a rare one. We want to look for upgrades radius to medium, and then go for the increased crit chance for attacks on notable passive skills. From there, if you can do like increased damage against hits with rare unique enemies on the small passes, or like elemental damage, lightning damage, increased damage with bows, anything like that is really good as well. From there, the last thing you could roll, attack speed is pretty nice, so that's what I went ahead and tried to find on there. The only other like unique jewel that we're running is a From Nothing jewel going with Unwavering Stance. This is actually pretty insane because it allows us to come over here and allocate anything within this blue circle near Unwavering Stance. Obviously, we take these 3 points, and this right here is like, I don't know, 180 or something like that, 170% increased damage against enemies in life. So it's just a massive DPS boost, and there's no reason not to take this. But that's it for the build. You know, we're doing 200 million damage, being able to do T16 juiced breaches easily. We have way better survivability than before, with the life leech basically being, you know, leeching as the energy shield, having full uptime of it now. It's really nice. It's in a really great spot, and I think you guys are really going to like the changes. As always, if you guys did enjoy the video or you like what I'm doing on the channel, if you get a like on the video and a subscribe to the YouTube channel, it does help me out immensely, and it also helps with the YouTube algorithm, and currently that is the best way to support me. Also should be live on YouTube and Twitch streaming. I'll have the link for that in the description, as well as the comment section of the video. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and night, depending when you're watching the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.